We were talking, it was funny. We weren't even going to start the podcast, but it was so easy through Anchor. It's free. There's a creation tool that allows you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or on your computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more places. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started.
Welcome to the Stoned Age Living Podcast. This is your boy Life Locks. Be sure to follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Spotify at Stoned Age Living, minus the G. We appreciate you for coming through. Plans for Special Cannabis Crimes Unit sparks outrage. Maine plans to create a new division of the State Drug Enforcement Agency tasked with regulatory compliance as well as monitoring illegal activity that competes with state-licensed growers, processors, and retailers. This four-person unit will be funded annually by $649,000 in cannabis tax and licensing revenue. Advocates for cannabis say that states should be trying to help businesses comply with regulations, not prosecute them. We do not want to see one additional person incarcerated for marijuana, said Mark Barnett, a Portland coffee shop owner applying for a recreational license. It's a move in the wrong direction and counter to the very idea of legalization. They believe that this unit will create what they call a risk premium and enforce the shutdown of black market for fear of prosecution and fines. My hope would be that we don't have to send people to jail to convince the gray market to participate in regulated marketplace, they told lawmakers on Monday. Nonetheless, the threat of doing that is an important piece of what we're trying to accomplish with these four agents. Now, some lawmakers question the decision to spend so much in state funds in pursuit of cannabis crimes amid an ongoing opioid crisis. I thought we legalized cannabis, said Charlotte Warren, co-chair of the Criminal Justice and Public Safety Committee. If we have to spend a total of $33.2 million over just the time I've been in the legislature, why are we adding more agents for something that we actually legalized? All right, so, yeah, I don't think that really makes any sense. They're going to be using cannabis tax dollars basically to prosecute people in the black market in Maine with a four-man DEA task force, which it sounds strange to me. It sounds like a waste of time and money. Just moving on. Jumping right into our next story. Virginia lawmakers continue to fine-tune legislation that aligns with the state's growing medical cannabis program by advancing two Senate bills facilitating the work of caregivers and lab employees. SB 185 would allow employees at nursing homes, assisted living facilities, and hospices to administer CBD and THCA oil to residents who have a valid written certification to use the medication. SB 885 would remove criminal liabilities for analytical lab workers who transport and possess both substances during the course of their work. If a laboratory is going to handle the drug that is marijuana, they need immunity from prosecution. Even if we are to go on to decriminalize it, that still has some civil penalties for it. All right, now all this is very true, but this is a positive thing that they're doing in Virginia, which, if you don't know about Virginia's cannabis laws, trafficking, selling, manufacturing are all pretty much start off at the felony level. Possessing hash or concentrates is a felony also in Virginia, so they have some pretty steep marijuana laws still. But this is going to definitely help them protect a lot of employees that are going to be administering these medications to these few patients that have these medical cards. I mean, they definitely should have done this earlier, but definitely something positive. We have one more article here that we're going to jump into today that I thought was pretty interesting that we definitely should cover. Millennials are fueling the cannabis economy. Millennials prove to be open to new experience and hence turn into genuine drivers of social changes. Nearly 55 million adults in the U.S. currently use cannabis, with over 35 million being regular users. More than 50% of all users who reported cannabis use were in the millennial age group. As much as 76% of millennials believe marijuana should be fully legalized. Almost 90% of millennials claim that weed is safer than booze. An interesting thing they also have in this article is the top reasons why they think millennials are switching over from alcohol to cannabis. Now, I agree with all of these. This may not be exactly why 100% for everyone, because everyone is different. But I have heard a lot of these reasons actually in real life from people, other millennials, I'll say, that have cut back on their alcohol usage. But the reasons start with cannabis doesn't have a hangover, marijuana is cheaper, weed helps them relax, cannabis is a good investment opportunity, weed is not toxic and has 0 calories. The millennials are all about health and fitness, which is yet another reason why they prefer cannabis as the primary relaxation method. Which, I mean, obviously these all don't apply to everyone everywhere, but definitely hard to disagree with. This has been another episode of the Stoned Age Living Podcast. Listen to hear LifeLocks cover the biggest cannabis headlines daily. Follow us at Stoned Age Living on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, Apple Music, Spotify, and anywhere else that you could possibly type it in. Tune in for cannabis news daily. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Thanks for checking in.